In this video, we're going to look at the minimum order sizes on GDAX, and I'm going to show you what you need to look out for if you decide to trade with these minimums. I want to discuss the order minimums for the GDAX platform. We just actually had an update to these particular minimums on January 16th, 2018, as you can see in this blog post on the right. This is at blog.gdax.com, and the title is Market Structure Update. In this blog, they're happy to announce the following updates to the trading rules. Which can be found if I hover over this link and you look just down at the bottom, you can see the trading rules link, which I'll also put in the description of this video. They say these updates are designed to improve the trading experience and provide a more fair and orderly market for all customers. And they went into effect on January 16th, 2018. They have the order minimums as follows. For Bitcoin, we have 0.001 for Ether. It's going to be 0.01 for Litecoin. It's going to be 0.1 for Bitcoin Cash. It's going to be 0.01, and then for all the fiat currencies, they give us a value of 10 for each particular fiat. I would prefer the way they had it before. It was 0.01 for all cryptos, and I like it to be uniform because it's easier to remember and you don't have to worry about which currency am I looking at, which crypto is it, what's the minimum. So I don't really like the fact that they made these all different, but it appears that they're trying to have more of a uniform fiat amount, which we can see in the bottom down there. We have uniform fiat amounts of 10, but I would rather if they would go ahead and do uniform amounts across the cryptos, but for now we don't have that. So one of the things I want to do is just go ahead and show you what this looks like, what you're going to see now in the GDAX UI when you're placing orders. For these actual fiat amounts here, the 10 USD, Euro, and British Pound, that's going to apply for market orders and for stop orders, because as you can see, whichever fiat you have chosen, those are going to go here. So the amount that you enter is going to be a fiat of USD in my case, and it's going to be 10 for stop order and for market order. If we go ahead and just put 9 worth of USD as our amount and we click place buy order, we're going to get this error message that tells us the amount must be greater than $10. Now, if we go on the stop side, we can do the same. We can put an amount there and we can click place buy order, and it says a stop price must be selected. So let's just select any stop price. We'll go with say 900, place, and then we get the amount must be greater than $10. So the next question that might be in your mind, well, when does the actual crypto limits come into place? Now, these come into place when we are using limit orders. These are going to be the orders that we use most often. So here we have the ability to place an amount in the actual crypto that we're trying to buy or sell. So for here on the Ether USD pair, our minimum is 0.01. So if we do, for example, 0.009, which is very close to 0.001. Let's just place and see if they tell us we need a limit price. They do. Price must be selected. Okay, so we'll just choose, say, 1,000 and place buy order. They tell us the amount must be greater than 0.01. So this is just something to keep in mind. Now, one of the things is they've changed this 3 times in the last 3 months. It seems like they're moving this around. They're trying to get it right. But if you see something that's not working as you expected, you should just check in with the trading rules document, which is where these order minimum details are specified. Now, if we scroll to the bottom of this blog post, this market structure update, we can see they tell us that, I'll just go ahead and read it off. We will also update these trading parameters occasionally to ensure they reflect the state of the marketplace and the notional price of the assets trading. Any adjustments to these values will be communicated via our status page and our trading rules. So clearly, if you're in the trading rules document, you're going to actually see the change if you knew what it was beforehand. And we're in section 1.4 now, which is where these values are defined. Now, if I go to the top, I don't see any indication of a change. So I guess the only thing you can really do is look at the date, which indicates that January 10th, there was a change. But if we just go back down to section 1.4, what I want to point you to is at the bottom, they say they will provide traders with 7 days notice via the status.gdax.com website. Now, that's prior to altering the values. So whenever I go to the actual status.gdax.com, which I typically go there, and if you don't know about that, that's a place where you can actually look at the status of all the GDAX systems, transfers, and exchange status for all the trading pairs. But I wasn't able to see any notification on that actual page. So if you're able to find that, then just let me know in the comments down below. But I wasn't able to find it when I was making this video. The way that I came across this particular update was by following GDAX on Twitter. So you can see here on Twitter on January 11th, so this is the next day after that particular web page was updated, they have linked out to the blog post that is the subject of this conversation. So following GDAX on Twitter is a good way to get this information. For the last part of this video, I want to go into a bit more detail on these order minimums, and I want to show you a problem that we can get ourselves into if we are trading with these particular minimums. Now, to recap what we just looked at the start of the video, I want to just look back at the order types. Now, we are looking at the market order type, and we can see that the units are USD. So this is the fiat, and our minimum was 10 units. So in this case, $10. So if we look at the limit order, we see that the units change to ETH. So the minimum that we're dealing with is going to be the minimum for that ETH crypto, which was 0.01 ETH. And then we also saw for the stop order, they jump back to the units being the fiat or the USD. So that's kind of weird and confusing, but it's kind of okay. We can deal with that. If we're using a market order or a stop order, we can just deal with the minimum $10. Now, the confusing part, and this is the part that you have to really be looking closely to notice, is that if we jump back to the market order and we just change from being a buyer to being a seller, then we notice that the actual units change from the fiat to the crypto. Now, that's actually an issue, number one, because it's confusing, but number two, because of the way these order minimums are defined with the different values for crypto and fiat, it can really get us into trouble. So let's just look at the limit order, and we can see that whether we're on the buy side or the sell side, for both of those sides for limit orders, we're dealing with crypto units. Okay, so that means that if we buy or sell, we're dealing with crypto units. That's great. That's what we want to see. Typically, this is the case when we're dealing, for example, with a stock brokerage. We always talk about how many shares of a particular company we want to purchase. We want to purchase 1 or 2 or 3, and that's whether or not we're buying or selling. And that's also whether or not we're using a market, limit, or stop, or whatever particular order type we're using. We're always talking about the number of shares as our units. This means that for limit orders, we'll be comfortable. We'll understand that when we're buying and selling, we're still using the same units, which is great. But if we jump over to stop, we can see that this is just like the market order. Whether we're buying or we're selling, we're jumping back and forth between the units, which is also going to cause us issues. Now, I can't see a real practical reason for why GDAX is switching between these units. This is not a good design, and it causes confusion for the users, for us traders. Now, additionally, aside from just being confused, it's going to make things difficult and get us into a trapped scenario. So what do I mean by that? Let's go ahead and take a look by actually doing a trade showing this in action. So I want to choose market. I want to suppose that in the scenario, I'm just testing out a trading strategy. I'm wanting to just do the bare minimum in terms of my trade because I want to keep my commissions low. So we're going to go ahead and just do the minimum of 10 USD for this trade. And this is a buy order for $10 USD. So when we place buy, this particular order is going to be matched with the lowest asking price on the order books on the sell side. So that's going to be that 1021.01. So we'll go ahead and place the order. We see that it was filled immediately at the price of 1021.01. Now, the important thing to notice is how much actual ETH we received from purchasing the $10. Now, if you look in the size column in the fills section, we can see that we got 0.0098 ETH. That's also the value of our ETH balance. Now, the reason this is problematic is because now, assuming that we want to go ahead and sell this ETH, and this is our test trade after all, we are going to run into the minimum on the ETH side because we don't actually have enough to reach that minimum amount. So let's see what this looks like. We're going to come over and click sell, and we're going to, now our units are ETH. So now we're dealing with the ETH minimum of 0.01. So let's just assume that we don't realize yet that we're in trouble, and let's just just go ahead and click fill all. So we're going to try to sell our total amount. Now we click place sell, and then here we're running right up against that minimum restriction. So essentially this software system has trapped us in this position. There's really at first glance nothing we can do to get out of this position. The only way that we can get out of the position is to come up with some type of hack to hack around this particular limitation of the system. Now you probably may see at the moment that the hack is going to be to purchase more ETH to actually bump ourselves over that minimum so we're not restrained anymore. But that is a hack. I mean, we shouldn't be required to hack the system in order to actually get out of our position. I mean, it's a trading platform where we should be able to trade in and out. Now, I can see that this whole issue would be resolved if GDAX would just do away with the fiat units in the order entries and just allow us to specify how much ETH we want to deal with, or how much of the crypto we want to deal with. So if we want to actually sell the ETH that we have, we're going to need to first purchase more. So for the sake of completeness, we'll go ahead and do that in this demo. So we'll purchase some more. We will just purchase $10 more, and that's actually the minimum. We couldn't do less than that. So we'll go ahead and purchase. Now, again, this order is going to execute at the lowest asking price on the sell side of the order book. So that's going to be at 1026.56 as long as it doesn't move in between the time that I click the button and the time that the order actually fills. So let's click place buy, and we got an execution at 1026.56. So now we have a total of 0.019 ETH in our account. So we can go ahead and choose all of this. We are on the sell side, and this time when we place this sell order, we will get a fill. We'll actually be able to use the software to do the trade because we are over that minimum that was restricting us before. So when we click place sell order, our order is going to execute at the highest bidding price on the buy side of the order book, and currently that's 1026.55. So let's click place sell order, and we can see in our fill section that we actually sold all of our ETH at 1026.55. Now, one thing that you might notice is that this is only an issue because of the way the minimums are defined. If the price of Ether was to drop below 1,000 and then we purchase $10 worth, then at that point we would actually get more than 0.01 and we would be able to sell it without having to do that hack where we purchase more. So what I hope to see in the future from this is I hope to see GDAX update this UI to accept crypto units for both the buy side and the sell side, because this will reduce confusion for traders, number one, and number two, it will mitigate this issue where a trader can get trapped in their position without being able to get in and out back to back at the minimum. Now, the last thing I want to point out and give you kind of the best case scenario for us right now is to always deal with limit orders. Now, one reason this is convenient is because dealing with limit orders is typically the best practice anyways. We usually don't want to use market orders because we want to specify a limit price. So because the limit order specifies ETH as the units for the amount for both buy side and sell side orders, we're restricted on the minimum when we get in and when we get out. So it's the same versus the market order and the stop order. Now, I'm not sure if they even intended to do this at GDAX. This could be a mistake because this is really a wacky design which causes issues for traders, confusion, and it gets you in that trap state. So hopefully we see them update this in the future. But at the current moment, if you're wanting to experiment with trading at the minimum, go ahead and use limit orders, or the other way that you can actually get around this is by just assuming a higher minimum for yourself. So if you start out and if the minimum's $10, you can trade with say $15 or $20, but that's still a little confusing because it's going to change depending on what the price of ETH is. So the higher the price of ETH goes, the higher dollar amount you're going to have to put in to actually get 0.01 ETH. So this is kind of a real fluid issue that's changing as the price changes. So hopefully what we'll end up seeing in the future is just having GDAX update this UI to where it's not confusing and it doesn't cause these problems. One thing to note is that even if GDAX corrected this issue and we didn't have this problem with submitting our buy and our sell orders, it would still be possible to end up having less than the minimum in your account. Now, this is possible due to partial fills. Partial fills happen when there's not enough demand or supply at the particular limit price that you're specifying to fill the order completely. So what will happen with a partial fill is that the order can get partially filled. And so if the leftover part that doesn't get filled happens to be less than the minimum, then you're not going to be able to cancel that order and then re-enter another order, because you would be below the minimum. You would have to purchase more crypto before you would be able to actually be above the minimum again. So that's another way that you get into this situation, and that's a more natural way. It's not necessarily caused by GDAX. It's just a nature of trading.